So today I want to talk about how to day trade large cap stocks. So first of all, there's no one right or wrong way to day trade large cap stocks. Over the past year and a half, I've developed my own strategy. I have been watching other people see what they do, and I learned as much as I could from a variety of people who trade large cap stocks. And just by watching the charts every day, every morning at market open, I've been able to create my own strategy. So the first things that you're going to need for day trading large caps is the right tools. So you're going to need a scanner. So when you open up in the morning, you can see what's moving and see what meets your list of criteria. You're also going to need good charting. So I use eSignal, and it's a really good charting platform for finding charts that are under a minute, and those are really going to help you with your precision entries. So eSignal is a paid service. It's pretty pricey, but you're going to need it if you want to be successful. Before I was using eSignal, I was learning how to use charts on Thinkorswim, and that's a free charting platform that you could start on. You don't have to pay for it, which is really nice. And the only thing that I don't like on Thinkorswim is that the data doesn't seem to be as accurate as eSignal. I've definitely tried to make pivot watch lists off of both platforms, and the eSignal ones are just so much more accurate. So it does have a lot of free data. It's just not the most accurate data. I like Thinkorswim a lot because you don't have to pay extra to go back in time. So you could go back 10 years ago, and you can actually replay the day and see how the 5-minute chart and the 1-minute charts look. However, the smallest time frame on Thinkorswim is going to be 1 minute. So you won't be able to see more information and get an edge over other traders because you can only see as low as 1 minute on there. On eSignal, I use charts that are less than 1 minute, and that really, really helps out with not only creating pivots, but also creating shorter term trend lines. And so I highly recommend eSignal. It's just, you're just going to have to pay a little bit of money for it. The last thing you're going to need is a brokerage. However, I'm still at a phase where I'm using Thinkorswim as my brokerage, but I'm noticing that when I use Thinkorswim to place orders, I don't get the best fills on there, probably because of the payment for order flow that high frequency trading firms are using. So I don't recommend staying with a free brokerage for too long. So I'm going to have to upgrade for sure as I increase my share size. But it's good enough for now. And the reason that I can trade with large cap stocks is because they move a lot slower. If you want to trade high momentum stocks, you are definitely 100% going to need a faster brokerage, something that gives you direct market access where there's no middlemen. So if you want to be trading high momentum stocks, I don't recommend using any sort of free brokerages. Those are the three main things you're going to need. Oh, and you're also going to need at least $25,000 in your account. Otherwise, you're going to come across issues with the Pdt Rule, which is a rule in the United States where you can only make 3 day trades per 5 rolling days, which can be pretty frustrating. So try to build up your account, and then you can day trade as much as you want. I like Thinkorswim because there's no commissions, but like I said, it's just a little bit too slow, and the market order fills are pretty bad. So now for my strategy, I use specific criteria. And if you're developing your own strategy, you have to make sure that every morning you're going to come in and stick to your strictly stick to your list of criteria that you need met. So I open up Trade Ideas, which is my scanner, and I'm looking typically for stocks with high relative volume that are gapping at least 3%, and they have some sort of news catalyst. So you usually want to see a news catalyst that is significant. I would say like analyst upgrades and downgrades aren't that good. You want to see like the company that you're looking at is like they have some sort of major news out. And by the way, sometimes good news will push the stock down and bad news will push the stock up. So it really doesn't matter if the news is good or bad. You really just have to watch the price action and go from there, because catalysts, like the good or bad quality of catalysts, sometimes doesn't really matter. So to combat that, or not necessarily combat it, but to work with that, you need to know how to draw pivots. And you should check out my video on how to draw pivots in the other, in my playlist. Yeah. So so basically that is the main criteria, and you're going to want to stick to that. I like to trade large caps because they move slower and they're a lot more predictable. So I'm going to do the pivots on Novavax, which was on a lot of people's watch lists for today. I'm going to open up the daily chart, and I'm just going to quickly go through. This stock was gapping this morning. So usually how I start is I'll go to the 5-minute chart, and around 5:30 is when I'll plot where the stock price was. So I'll create a little line right there so that when I go to the daily chart, I can see where the gap is. And as you can see, we had a big gap down from here all the way to here. And it looks like Novavax actually gapped down into a major pivot, which was right here. Also, it could be right there. So that's actually like a zone, a pivot zone. And when that happens, you can expect to see a bounce, which is pretty much exactly what happened here. Yeah, so in the morning, you're just going to go in, you draw your pivots. This is where the price was starting, so I wanted to see where the price could go and draw pivots that are above and below here. So I probably would have done something like this. And maybe something like that there. And probably this here. Then you can go in and do your diagonal trend lines. So there would be one that goes like here. However, that's not going to go through the price for today, so I don't really need to draw that for now. You could do one from here. Let's try that one. Although that didn't really go through today, so you could leave that and maybe try like this here. This one might work for tomorrow or in a couple days. So now we're going to go to the 5-minute chart. Let's see how it looks on there. So it looks like it really blew through these levels and almost came up here. Another thing that you can do when you're driving pivots is you can scroll back on the 5-minute chart and see where you might run into pivots over this way to the left. So you want to just squish it in. And if there's no price action in this area all the way back, you could just go over to the daily chart. And I would just zoom in here on this area. And then, so this is May 14th. I would want to look at that on the 5-minute chart. So I would just type in 5/14. Let's see. Yep. Cool. It goes back that far. So here's May 14th. This is where the price is sitting. So I would want to draw some 5-minute pivots, and I usually do those in like a less intense red line. So it looks like you could have a pivot right around there. Maybe, and maybe one there. So let's fast forward to today. I actually ended up blowing through all of those and back testing one of them and then continuing on. So for tomorrow, we'll see how it bounces around these lines here. If we can hold 134, maybe we're heading back up to 150 or 147.39. If we break below and test from below, we could be heading down to 125 and 122.50 and then 117. So the reason I like trading with large caps is because algorithms are looking for windows larger than the ATR to push through to try to capitalize on gains. And these pivots really work. So usually once you hit one line, you're going to go make it all the way through to the next window, so long as that window is larger than the ATR. And in order to figure out what the ATR is, you can go to your daily chart. And I have my indicators set up so I can see really quickly that the ATR is going to be 16. So whenever the stock has the potential to move 16 points, that is going to be a good spot to make a trade. So let's check out this window here. So the distance from where we opened to where we went here, that was 25, much bigger than the ATR. So now let's check out for tomorrow what this window is like. Exactly 16. So if we're holding 134, we may expect to come up to 150. For a short trade, the distance from here to here is 840. So this is, we don't really like that. Let's see what the distance is from here to here. A little less than 11. So ideally we want to be long. If we can take a trade long on Novavax tomorrow and there's still high volume, that would be a really good trade to take. So yeah, that's pretty much how to day trade large caps in a nutshell. You pretty much have to develop your own strategy or follow someone else's, or you could follow mine by following me on StockTwits. Maybe eventually, if people catch on to my strategy, then I will create a course or something like that and get you able to set up with like your monitors. And I actually have 3 monitors, not just this one that you guys are seeing on the screenshot, but I have 3 and a scanner on a 4th. So those are the things that I could go through on a course that I could develop in the future. Hope you guys like this video. Make sure to follow me on StockTwits at HeyLittleTrader with 2 R's at the end. Check out my other videos on how to draw pivots and how to trade the SPY and the QQQ. And if you were confused about what indicators I'm using, there's a whole video that I did on that. So yeah, check me out.